Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Daily Detroit live stream. It is nearly 80 degrees in the Paris of the Midwest. I am J.R. Stays, and joining me at the table is none other than the Prince of Brightmoor himself, Norris Howard. How are you?
Man, listen, I apologize for everybody if my energy levels are low, but this finally good stroke of warm weather has sapped me of all my energy, so I am caffeinating myself heavily so I can have the best live stream for y'all humanly possible.
You know what we're hitting? Sit on the porch in sweet tea season.
We about to be there, man. We're about to be there. I'm definitely about to sit on a patio somewhere and type on my laptop, my musings.
Musings?
Yeah, my musings.
I see.
That I like to type up. But, yeah, man, I hope if you're listening to this right now, you are sitting on your porch or patio or balcony or deck or somewhere with the windows down, riding through the Motor City streets, because it's a beautiful day. I mean, it can not get much more beautiful than this.
I mean, this is why we're here, right?
Yeah.
Like, days like this is why we're here.
Exactly, man. This is what Michigan is all about, man. So I expect to hear cicadas. I expect to, smell a little bit of leftover grilling. It's supposed to be beautiful all week for the most part.
Did you know for a long time I used to thought it was a circadian rhythm, not a circadian rhythm?
I mean, that's not crazy. That's not crazy.
I was fascinated when I was a kid. They're big.
They're huge.
Gigantic.
Yeah, but I love the way they sound. It is one of my favorite sounds in the world. I know it annoys a lot of people. I love the sound of a 10-year cicada.
Well, they're, on the east side, especially when you get the combination of the 10-year cicada and the fish fly.
See, the fish fly I can't handle.
Bugapalooza.
I can't handle the fish fly.
That's coming up soon, too.
I know it is, but I don't. You know what's funny? The fish fly thing is not bad downtown, I guess, because, they all die from all the various fumes and neons. But I only used to experience them very heavily on the east side.
Well, it's because the water moves very fast with the river.
Yeah.
Through downtown.
Yeah.
When you're up by Lake St. Clair, when you're up, there's more
still water. You got
Yes.
the canals up there, too, especially if you're down by Jefferson. But, yeah, the fish flies I can't handle. Cicadas are cool, though.
We're going to mention it on the main show, but I want to say congratulations, Norris.
What happened?
We have lost again.
Oh, how we lose?
We are finalists, finally, for Ours Best of Detroit Best Podcast. We came in right behind Amon Ra St. Brown, Equimenia St. Brown Brothers.
I'm sick of them. All right. Our podcast is better by every measurable metric besides number of people who listen.
And the fact they're NFL players, and well, there's a lot of reasons.
Listen, man.
They got two cities.
Let me put it this
A
way.
little Chicago, a little New Orleans, a little Green Bay, and Detroit.
I'm going to say this, all right? No disrespect to Amon Ra because he plays for the Lions. Every bit of disrespect for Equimenius because he's always had. And that's another thing. That just goes to show that the people who vote for this don't actually listen to the podcast because Equimenius has said all kind of slanderous things about the city of Detroit.
Downright slanderous.
Yeah. So how could you go out and support him over supporting us? And I'm letting you know right now, I know he's an NFL player, but if I see him in the streets, I'm going to tell him, Equimenius, first of all, your name is a horse suffix. And second of all right, the root of your name has things to do with horses. And second of all right, we ain't gonna take no slander about the city of Detroit. Point blank, period. And I'm gonna stand on that. And if I see him ever in person, I'm gonna say it to his face.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't play here.
Yeah.
He doesn't even go here.
He don't even go here. And if I see Amon Ra, I'm gonna tell him, tell your brother what I said.
That would be an amazing clip for social media.
Tell your brother I said we ain't gonna stand none of this Detroit slander. And you better stand on it too. You better pick between us and blood, period. I'm making you pick. All right? And if you ain't down with us, you can join him in Chicago. Or wherever.
New
he
Orleans
at.
now.
New Orleans, wherever. See, you see how he gotta be bounced around. He a journeyman. His brothers done found Planet Roots here.
I was joking. Maybe we need to do a two-city thing. Maybe I need to go down to New Orleans and wear a sandwich board sign for Daily Detroit and eat some beignets and drink some chicory coffee.
I mean, there's a French connection there. You know, you probably
I like New Orleans.
You probably would, feel very good in New Orleans. You know. But listen, all jokes aside, we appreciate anybody who went out there and voted for Daily Detroit. We love y'all and we support y'all. And we'll be back next year to do it again and hopefully win sometimes because we would love to have more awards on our shelves because awards are fun.
Well, we have been permanently in second place for many things.
But let me tell you this. I know what that feeling is like because guess what Arsenal did? Arsenal finished twice in second place 3 straight years. And then guess what they did? On that 4th year, they won it all. Okay? So I'm letting y'all know right now, next year, we gonna win it all.
I appreciate that.
We gonna win it all. I'm just saying, I know we gonna win it all.
No worries.
But yeah, so other than that, listen, second place is still a silver medal. And if you told me, hey, Norris, you're going to go to the Olympics and you're going to get a silver medal, I'd be like, you know what? Sure, everyone would like to go, but how many people in the world have silver medals?
Before we get into recording the mainstream, can I share a very nice review from somebody?
I love reviews. We should do this more.
Yes. So they say they gave us 5 stars on the Apple Podcasts.
We love it.
For everyone who loves Detroit, I've been a regular listener for 2 years since I returned to Detroit, and I've dropped by a couple of times for events. I'm no doubt forever a Fez head.
We love that. The Fez heads. That's the. I guess that's the.
That's
the
what
new
it
term,
is.
The Fez heads.
First of all, the 20-minute average is exactly right for a commute or a morning coffee, and it's a perfect digest of what's happening in the city. Jer, Norris, and Devin are great humans, gifted journalists, urbanists, and citizens, and Fezzy too. There's a lot of heart in these talks wherever and whenever Jer signs off, I get a little misty. Detroit is people first, and our presence matters, even if it's just showing up to local events, businesses, and supporting local efforts. And it's true. I have seen Jer around Detroit.
Yeah, listen, man. If you guys sit back and get really, 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 really deep into how much work goes into this show on a daily basis, yeah, it's rough.
We got Breakfast King of Loyola in the chat.
What a name. What a name.
That name's got a history.
Yeah,
Somebody did a lot of brunch near that college.
Yeah, or somebody that's deep.
That's a story in a name.
That's a name that has lore.
Yes.
That has lore.
Was Norris content with second place when Arsenal finished second to Man City 3 years in a row? We need to get you guys over the hump.
See, I love that motivation. I just brought that example up, which was, about Arsenal. And listen, I'm just saying that in a massive competition against hundreds of thousands of podcasts, to be 2 out of thousands is pretty good. So much,
for sure.
It's much better finish than 2 out of 20.
And there's a lot of great podcasts in Detroit. We're pretty lucky here. Maybe it's because our long history of radio.
Now, to Breakfast King's point.
The Breakfast King.
Jerry, I'm a I'm a competitive
club. This is not
the
Breakfast
Breakfast
Club.
King.
The Breakfast King.
All right, the monarch of breakfasts, and from one royal to another.
Does that make him higher than Charlemagne the God?
No. Charlemagne is a radio deity.
That's true.
And therefore that puts him higher. But from one royal to another, I will definitely say that I am competitive, and I would like to beat both Amun-Ra and Equiminius at my own game, because they in my realm, and I don't like that they are winning awards from people who should know better. We run the podcast game in Detroit. Period.
He says he is no deity.
No, you're not, but Charlemagne the God is.
Yes.
Yes, of
The Breakfast Club.
of clickbait morning radio. He is the God.
He is a god of it, though.
He
He's
is
so
the
good
God
at it.
of clickbait morning radio.
He's so good at it.
So good at it.
Like, he knows how to get people fired up.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen that man threatened so many times by rappers and actors, and
You know the fight I would love to see? I would like to see Charlemagne versus Mike Valenti.
ooh,
Because they're both like that New Yorker
they both
kind
could
of
go.
bite.
They both could go back and forth. Yeah, they both could go back and forth, and they both kind of like, when you really get under their skin. Like Charlemagne is more so of like fall back snarky, while Valenti is like, nah, go at your throat. So it'd be interesting to see how.
Oh,
that
he's
will pop off.
all in. When he decides to go all in, when he is done.
When he's
When he
over
is
it.
done, it is to the jugular.
It's magnificent. It's magnificent. But thank you so much, Breakfast King of Loyola. And appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, I would like to see us get that award, because I want to be able to fill our shelves with more dubs.
I want to have a few wobbly pops and walk from the old Miami downtown, blaring on an 80s boombox, "We Are the Champions" by Queen.
Actually, what we should do is we should get a double-decker bus. If we win that award, we get a double-decker bus, and we drive it up Casa Avenue from the old Miami to the studio.
Oh, yes.
And we have it open on the top, and we set off flares, and we have music, and we dance around, and we have the award, and we hold it up, and we sing "Campeones, Campeones, ole, ole, ole." Like, we should just have a daily Detroit victory parade right there on Cass Avenue.
That would, Cass historically. No, second is historically the parade route.
Second is the
Looking at
parade
old
route.
photos back in the day for the Thanksgiving parade, it did not go down Woodward the whole way. It was mostly down Second Avenue.
Well, wasn't Second wider for a number of years?
Isn't it pretty damn wide now?
It's wide now, but I
It's
think
wide as hell now.
I think Second was wider for a few years because the streetcars, you couldn't, with Woodward you had the streetcars, and so like I don't know how they would.
Oh yeah, well, it
organize
was
that.
definitely better because you wouldn't have the overhead catenary wires.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So Second probably was better because you didn't have the wires there.
Welcome to Daily Detroit, where we use the term catenary.
You learn something every day
Every
on
day.
Daily Detroit, and if you walk away and you didn't learn anything, you weren't listening.
I agree. I won't mention who, but shout out to one of our listeners who went through a thing and came out okay.
Good.
So shout out. I know it's like very out there and like, in the ether, but I
Nah,
just
we
want to
putting
give
out vibes. We
I'm
putting
putting
out
out vibes to our community.
We're
Somebody's
putting
going
out
through
vibes.
And so I was really glad to hear there was a thing that happened and they made it through.
Yep, we putting out vibes, positive vibes, and we want to stay with the positive vibes.
Yes.
Just to let you know that we was thinking about you and stay up.
All right. Shall we record a show?
We shall.
We shall. So here's the deal. If this is the first time you are listening to us on the live stream, what we do is we record tomorrow's show today. So there will be some things that are a little weird. Like I will say it is tomorrow. I'll say it's June 3rd when it is June 2nd. I will probably not be able to address the chat directly, but producer Adam's in there. I know whoever's not talking might be able to talk to folks. But if you've got questions or you want to add things to the chat, put them in there. Let us know, and we'll circle back after the show. We'll spend a little bit of time with it.
Yep,
So, all right, shall we get started, my friend?
we shall.
All right. All right. We are recording. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, friends, and welcome to your daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan. I am Jer Stays, coming to you from our studio at Techtown on this Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. Joining me as co-finalist for our Detroit's best podcast is none other than the Prince of Brightmoor himself, Norris Howard. How are you?
Hey, man, once again, the West Side is in the building, and let me just say, it has been a good streak of weather so far, so let's hope the streak is still going.
I also want to thank listeners for putting us in this position to be a finalist to lose to
Yes.
Amon Ra and Equimania St. Brown yet again and the St. Brown podcast. Which, all the love to them, but we have lost now twice in a year.
All right, let me just say this, right? Again, I will always be a gracious second place because, listen, their podcast is huge. They're NFL players, so that's to be expected. However, I will say this. I need everybody else in the city to step up. I need everybody else to step up next year because we're going to be going full force with a lot of extra stuff. And you guys, we want your support, so we're going to step up, and we want you to step up. And we want to win that award because I want to have a championship parade, me and you and the rest of the Daily Detroit team to get a double-decker bus and set off flares and drive down Cass Avenue and celebrate winning this award. That's what I want to do, so let's all make it happen.
From here to the old Miami.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
amazing. See, I thought maybe I would volunteer myself as tribute. Like, just put on some pads. I'll go with the 50. And in trade, Amon Ra could just, tackle or take me out. I mean, it would hurt, but
Yeah. Yeah, it
I'm open
would,
to
but
it.
but I would prefer if we beat them at a level playing field, which would be podcasting. That is not a fair comparison to try to do anything physical.
have a St. Brown take out a man in his mid-40s in the middle of Ford Field.
Brother, you are asking for a trip to the urgent care.
Poor Dr. Paul at Plum Health.
Yeah, you are asking.
I gotta
for a
have
trip.
Dr. Paul at Plum Health Direct Primary Care on site for that
He got to
one.
be right there on site, man.
With
like,
a ambulance.
oh yeah, it'll be like an episode of Jackass. Like you got to just have like the medical team on standby.
Well, we got some serious stuff to talk about this episode, but let's start with something fun. Donuts.
Yes.
Because I have learned that Detroit's Dutch Girl Donuts is going to be doing free donuts with a sneak peek of their expansion this Friday
gotta
over
be there.
on Grand Boulevard, 2820 East Grand Boulevard. Within short distance of this very studio, the Dutch Girl is getting closer to opening. I love the speed of this stuff. We talked about it just a few months ago. None of this like multi-year thing. Like I had heard that sadly the Riverwords Market on the east side is going to be delayed a few more months. This is not a delay. They're moving. They're getting donuts together. I love to see it and to see the expansion of a great brand. Very heartening, if you will.
Yeah, man, and this is also just a really kind of cool location for them because first of all, it's on a thoroughfare that a lot of people are going to actually have to drive past, and on top of that, it's an area that has started to see a little bit more revitalization. That's kind of been that Milwaukee Junction development kind of moving slowly but surely to the north. towards East Grand Boulevard. You got Volta Midnight a block away over there. Oak and Real and Freya and Dragonfly. Sepia Coffee over there as well. The JM Handy and Fitz. That little area right there is really interesting. And like from the outside, like just driving past it, you kind of wouldn't know. But it's kind of got a little bit going on over there. And putting the Dutch Girls right there would be really awesome because let me tell you, having a donut place that close to over here in Tech Town is a dangerous game, and it will be taken advantage of.
I think it's only going to boost our Saturday get-togethers.
Absolutely. It's going to be significantly easier for us to grab coffee and donuts and to do it and support a legacy local chain. But once again, that preview is going down on Friday, and it's going to be really exciting, man, because, you know, it's the cafe situation like north of 94 is not as robust as I think it needs to be.
I wish there were, you know what this neighborhood needs, and maybe it'll be something that happens. It's funny because actually the space we're in years ago used to be a coffee shop, but with more residences coming in and the new research building and stuff, it would be nice to get a proper coffee. The closest one is either walking all the way down to campus
or Fisher.
All the way up to the Fisher building.
Yeah.
It feels like there would be really good, at least sometimes, somewhere in here, like a little place.
Yeah, like, you know, and then, of course, you got the cafe over there inside Keesling, the very tiny one.
But it's about the same
Keesling.
distance. I like Milwaukee Cafe, but it's the same distance, if not longer. Actually, it is longer than walking.
It's long. Yeah, it's longer. But, you know, again, I am of the belief that if your city can sustain it, you should have a place to get coffee every 2 blocks if you can.
8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Friday. Check it out. Also, dozens for sale at $20 a box.
Oh, man. Dozens are $20 a box now, man. That is crazy. The tariffs, bro.
The inflation. Forget gas prices.
Yeah.
Donut prices. You know, it'd be amazing if they took one of those like gas signs and made it per donut.
They should. That actually would be a great marketing.
That would be ridiculous.
That'd be great marketing.
You know, speaking of food, I want to talk about a story that's a shift with a downtown restaurant. I want to mention it because yes, it's been around for a long time. Yes, it's got a great, like, loyal customer base that people know about. But yes, it also is reflective of some changes nationally in the restaurant scene. And so it's Wright & Company downtown. After July 3rd, they're ending regular dinner but keeping their Wright K building space and becoming a private events venue with more details on the next iteration to come. This is from multiple reports, Detroit News, Cranes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, this is a shift that is happening with a number of restaurants. You know, for example, in the suburbs, Detroit Fleet and Ferndale has taken a similar path where they don't do nightly service anymore. And there's a number of reasons for this. I mean, in Detroit, you've got foot traffic that's going up and down. You've got foot traffic patterns that are changing as this is more of a tourist economy. But nationally, this is a trend. The U.S. catering market hit nearly $73 billion in 2023, and it's expected to grow to roughly $124 billion by 2032, about a 6 to 7% compound growth that is far higher than overall restaurant sales in the nation. One survey cited by Restaurant Dive found that more than half of restaurants plan to add or expand catering in the next year. And on top of that, event spaces, specifically in catering, event catering, weddings, corporate, and social events now account for more than 60% of U.S. catering revenue. I have talked to a number of people who have been making the shift from restaurants or in-person places to consumer packaged goods and catering because the numbers are brutal out there for restaurants.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, again, we've talked a number of times about, you know, why things are a little bit harder for restaurants in this particular economy. But I actually am going to yell at the consumer for a little bit. It's something that both Devin O'Reilly and on the show and I actually agree with, which is the sort of death of experiential dining, the death of the night out. We are, in my opinion, starting to see the corporate or social catered events start to overtake that. You're starting to see, you know, the whole dinner date thing, I think, fade away. People seem to be not doing that as much. And then also, it's just significantly more expensive to do that stuff. And that's not the fault of the restaurant particularly. but people are choosing to do other things. And I think that we are losing something that is not just vital to cities, but vital to, in my opinion, our human experience. Like, dinner is a thing, you know, if you're not doing the big at home, sit down at the dining room table dinner thing, or you're not doing, you know, a big event, you know, going out to dinners is like a thing we've done for hundreds of years.
I want to shout out though that
Or
Wright,
100 years, excuse me.
I want to say that Wright and Company has been around. I want to say 12, 13 years, something
Yeah.
like that. Hell of a run.
Oh, for a restaurant, and especially they were one of the early adopters in the market, and they were kind of in a weird location too. They were definitely like a if you know kind of place.
But I love it. I've been
Me
there a
too.
few times.
It was a
and
great location.
Yeah, that second floor view is among the most, like, you feel like you're in Chicago or New York.
Yeah, it was a really great place. It was a really great menu, and you know, for me, I just feel like it's a loss of. I view Wright and Company as one of those locations where it was like, this is downtown Detroit. Like, this is the new version of what we are moving towards. And to see it turn into an event space and not disappear completely, I suppose, is heartening. But, you know, I'm still frustrated because I think we are taking convenience and taking, you know, away that sort of experiential, personal experience of dinner, and it's devastating in my opinion.
Well, let's switch to some news. Federal prosecutors have charged former Detroit People Mover procurement director Michael Anderson and businessman Terrence Parker, accusing them of a phony invoice and bribery scheme that steered more than $300,000 from the Detroit Transportation Corporation to Parker's company for work investigators say was never done. Anderson worked at the DTC from March of 2022 until he was fired of April of last year for what officials said was conduct unrelated to this criminal case. Court documents allege that Anderson approved 23 invoices from Total Care Restoration, a firm with no IT contract at the agency, and that bank and phone records show a pattern of payments, cash withdrawals, and deposits consistent with kickbacks for various types of work that was not done. Yeesh, Norris.
Big yikes.
Listen. I know it's the People Mover, but like, I don't care what it is. I am damn tired of people stealing from Detroiters.
Yeah, it sucks, man, and I'm not feeling this. And here's the thing that I continue to be frustrated with, which is, look, Detroit is in a better place now than it was in the 90s and early 2000s. But this is the kind of stuff that makes people go, not that much has changed. You know, it's one of those things that makes the naysayers continue to naysay. And even though, again, this is the People Mover, and this was this occurred years ago, or at least majority of the allegations occurred between 2022 and 2025. It still is that stain of, you know, who's overseeing this stuff. And that's what makes it frustrating.
Yeah, and the DTC has its own kind of operating world that it's in, a little bit separate from the city. But at the end of the day, it's about oversight, right? Whether it's this, whether it was the Detroit Riverfront, like, we gotta pay attention to this stuff because we can't afford these things. Like, what could projects that are doing good do with $300,000? How many things in this town have we met, talked to, whatever? Capital is so hard to come by here. It is so hard to find money for your thing here. We know about it personally.
That's six,
right? $300,000. I mean, just wow.
That's 6 Motor City matches. That's six individual businesses that could have got the $50K grant from Motor City Match. If we're talking about $300K,
that's like 3 or 4 engineers. You know, I get this idea. You know, I think about things like the People Mover. I would love for us to start to build out our own technology.
Yeah. And get off and get off, you know, essentially borrowed cars and borrowed technology. But that's hard to do when you got $300,000 that's missing. Listen, y'all, just don't do this. Like, just don't do this. You know what I mean? Like, if you're under contract, if you got a technology contract with the city to work on the People Movers, you're not broke.
No,
you're not broke.
And the amount of money, you know. It's just wild to me. It's just, I mean, I get it. Like, things mess up, $500 there, $300. You know,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
somebody screws up somewhere, but $300. Come on.
No, $300,000 is a pattern, bro. Yeah. Even I have legitimately seen organizations lose track of like $2,000. I've seen it. It's like, wait a minute, this was supposed to be for this. What happened? I've seen it, right? 300,000. Nah, bro. Something.
Well, it was like, but people were in my comments upset that we were coming hard at the Riverfront Conservancy for a little while about what happened there. It's like oversight, man.
Oversight. It's
I don't care if
oversight.
you like the people.
It's oversight, and also you got to pay attention. For me, it's all about what could that money be used for, and $300,000 is a big enough thing. So, dude, $300,000 probably could have sped up when it went down over the springtime. Remember when it got messed up from the windstorms? That $300,000 probably could have got that track fixed a few days earlier. Like, it maybe could have made it for opening day. Who knows? Like, that's the thing. That's what people don't think about, I think, sometimes. But yeah, that's a lot of money to go missing, and stop stealing.
Yes. Norris, do you want to set me up for this last one from a listener?
All right.
Because I think they're going to address me.
Oh, okay. So what's good? Oh, pause. I didn't have that pulled up yet. I got to go to the Google Drive.
It's the magic of live recording, everybody.
Yep. I wasn't ready. Forgive me.
So why don't you do a clean start then?
Yeah, I will.
Cool.
I will.
We'll address the chat. Nick Matar says, I love the People Mover, but I'm kind of surprised the DPM haven't even had that much to spend their budget. Yeah, their budget's tiny.
Yeah, it's real small.
It's real small. So yeah, that's
All right,
not,
I'm ready.
It is a lot of money. All right, let's get into back into the show. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so this comes from listener Hector, who says, I know it's a little outside your coverage area in Saline. It's not. But also, I saw the press photo with Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and I was very upset. I worry about data centers greatly. I don't want to believe she took a check from Sam Altman. So, Jer, you were just up at Mackinac. You're also one of the more reasonable people I know. Can you steel man or give me the reasonable argument as to why Whitmer said yes to the $16 billion Stargate project?
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble, Hector. Because
Yeah.
somebody's going to clip this.
Yeah,
Somebody's going to clip this out of context. Someone's going to make me look bad.
probably.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time.
No.
So, with the caveat, internet clippers, that this is a steel man argument,
Yes.
I am taking the other side to something that, looking at it going, I get how you got there.
Yeah, also known as the devil's advocate.
The devil's advocate, that's another good one, right? Because I think we need to talk about this in a very reasonable way. I think some of the coverage of this thing on both sides has been ridiculous.
All right.
All right. So let's start out with some basics. First off, AI is not going away.
No.
Even if most of these companies go away, let's say there was an implosion like the .com,
Yeah.
AI is here to stay. It's been here actually for a long time. We just couldn't interact with it in the same way because it was very active in manufacturing, vision learning, a lot of other like approaches and applications. It's the LLM that's really, cracked it up into a whole new level. Okay? So, if you are working under the assumption that it's not going away, well, then you may want to be a part of it, right? Because we're not turning back the clock. This data center is the largest project in the history of the state of Michigan. If you are somebody who is very concerned about jobs, I was just at the Mackinac conference, like you said, the house is on fire.
Yes.
We have a big problem with jobs. We have a big problem with educational attainment. We have a big problem with a lot of incomes. The $16 billion project, it would provide, 2,500-ish construction jobs, admittedly short term. Okay. And couple hundred high income data center jobs. Now, it's not a factory, right? It's not a factory. But I would mention that even though it's not an auto factory, the auto factories that everybody's nostalgic for were pretty terrible on the environment too.
Yes.
I live near Stellantis. I bounce between Stellantis and Factory Zero.
Yeah.
All right. I remember I've gone through the air quality reports in the heyday of the automotive industry when every day would have been like a day that we have the wildfires. Okay. This kind of economic development is messy. But the trade in the past was you get a bunch of jobs And that trade isn't as much here, but that's kind of that's the way the world is now. Now,
Okay.
we go to how this is being put together. Now, again, this is the steel man. There are agreements in place and laws in place to make this harm less than other data centers. So with closed loop cooling, the idea being we only top up the water, we keep reusing the water. We gotta verify here. Okay,
Keep going.
I'm steel manning.
Keep going.
Okay, in fact, over time it would use less water than an office park of the same size. Is their argument? Now, for Saline Township and nearby city of Saline, we're talking about 30%, a 30% bump in their local taxes. So that's a lot more money to work with. We're also, and yes, there is a tax break, but that is because Michigan has a personal property tax that is among the highest in the nation. And most manufacturing companies get that tax break. Most manufacturing companies use tons of water. It's just not, like, we just don't argue about it. When you look at a GPT query, you're talking about 20 or 30 queries equal roughly about an hour streaming video. We're already using a ton of data centers. The argument I think, to look at it and go, I don't think Governor Whitmer took a check from Sam Altman, okay? I do think many leaders think this is the only option we got because a lot of Michigan voters keep saying no. So at what point do Michigan voters say yes? So Michigan voters say, a lot of Michigan people say no to gas stations. We can't have sheets, right? Because they're this. The Michigan Municipal League is saying, well, we really probably shouldn't have duplexes because we shouldn't do that kind of dense development. We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do that. At what point does Michigan say yes? And the farther down the line you don't say yes, the worse the deal becomes.
I don't disagree with that, but I also think when we're looking at something, I'm sorry. Is there any more you want to add to this conversation?
My general outline is that, like any other company, yes, it absolutely could go wrong, but you still had 2,500 short-term construction jobs. It's easier to turn around than a place that deals with tons of chemicals. You can remove all the racks. You can redo the site in a safer way than, say, a paint shop at an auto plant.
Maybe,
but this is again. So all industry is going to pollute, and it pollutes more than you think. Farms, whether it's
massive polluters,
massive polluters.
Yeah,
right. Massive polluters of the water system.
Yes.
So it's all bad.
Yeah.
This is just the bad that people really don't like, and they're very upset about AI specifically, and they're worried about their jobs and the change in that technology.
I think the issue here is twofold, right? I think number one, you still have the environmental concerns because you talked about the water, but we still didn't necessarily talk much about the air aspect of data centers. We didn't talk much really about the heat generated by some of these data centers. We didn't really talk about also the social aspects of these data centers. And I think that is the existential crux of what the fear is. I think the environmental arguments are valid and they're strong and they're things that we should be concerned about. But ultimately, as time goes on, there's more efficient ways to be able to mitigate some of that stuff. However, the social aspect of what's going on is by far the more devastating thing, because what people are seeing is that you have a town and a township roughly of about 16,000 people.
Well, you got like 2,500 in the township and another something in the city.
Even if we just count that whole region, let's just round and say 15,000 people. So you got a township of 15,000 people who unequivocally said they did not want this. They used their municipal voice. They used their collective voice. And guess what? Their collective voice meant nothing. And what does that say for our system when we can say we're supposed to be able to control our own destiny and tell you what we want and we don't want? It doesn't matter if you think it's the wrong thing or stupid or whatever. We told you what we want and you did it anyway. You went over our heads and did it anyway. That's the betrayal. That's the part that makes people feel weird. And you didn't just do it with anybody. You went and did it with, let's be honest, one of the most the maligned companies in the world right now. So that aspect of it just really makes people feel crappy, bro.
I hate the secrecy to how this has been put together. None of these deals should have been blacked out.
Oh, and I was there. I was in the meetings. I saw the documents. To have a deal that was ex parte, that was supposed to completely not go to the people at all, that had 60% of the document redacted. That is not how you're supposed to do business. Jared, if I handed you a contract for my services that had a multi-billion-dollar price tag on it, but 60% of it is blacked out, and I don't tell you what's in it, do you sign that contract?
Listen, I hear you. And I think that's part of what's made this so bad, because industry screws up the earth like
Yes.
a lot, right? And I am willing to see arguments, because it's actually in an AI dentist. It's in the data center's business interest to reduce costs,
Yes.
to use things like solar as opposed to off the grid. Or there's all kinds of things there, right? It's how it was done. It was the blackouts of the contract, right? So we all knew what we were getting at Stellantis,
Yeah.
right? We all knew this was going to hurt.
Well,
Right? We all knew in that community. Lots of people went against it. It went through anyway. It was lots of jobs, but we knew it was coming.
You knew it was coming, but also it was a lot of jobs, and there was a lot of jobs that were going to employ people in that area directly. That's another aspect of this, right? Is that the data centers will attract some jobs. Much higher paying jobs. And much higher paying jobs. How many of those people will be people from Saline?
There will likely often be new people.
There will be new people. So that, and again, we want growth. We want people to be able to come into Michigan. That's not my argument against the people who take these jobs. My argument is that if I am a resident of Saline, what I'm seeing is that the land that I told you not to use, that you went over my head and are using anyway, isn't going to even really benefit anybody I know in any real tangible way. Right? We could talk about a community benefits package, but again, that's obtuse. It's not a thing that I know or maybe even will live to see. But if you told me that 60% of the jobs have to be filled by people who work in Saline, okay, then maybe we might be on to
Well,
something.
that's what they did in Detroit.
Right.
And then you paid a fine if you didn't meet it, because they didn't meet it. But
also
there was a fine.
But also, let's get to a big issue here, which is these data centers are a lot harder to do in Detroit. Not just because of the land. We got plenty of land. You can make it happen. But, Jer, why is it harder for you to do in Detroit or Ferndale or, well, you can't do it in Ferndale. It's too dense. But Warren, Canton.
Well, no, Canton actually.
Yeah, Canton.
Let's talk about this.
But let's
Let's cook, because one of the things that we might need to wrestle with here, and I want to talk to more legal experts about this, but a lot of Michigan is structured in a township way as opposed to a city. When you are a township, you have a lot less say and control over what goes there. A township was designed for communities that are rural,
Yes.
right? And now Saline itself is a pretty rural community, but it is wild work to me that there are townships with nearly or more than 100,000 people in this state. A town, if you want to have more control, being a city, yes, it's more work. Yes, it's more responsibility. And yes, it's paying in more. However, it gives you that more citing specificity to say, these are the things we have to do. Whereas a lot of times with townships, if it's a legal allowable use and a data center is a legal allowable use, it's really hard to stop it, even if you want to say no.
Yeah, and that's another thing. And so, we had a conversation about infrastructure and pipes out there in Monroe County. And I talked about infrastructure and how it degrades and how this continued sprawl is going to make that a worse situation to deal with over the next 40 to 50 years. I think this is going to continue to be a thing that many of these smaller townships are going to have to contend with. We saw it happening, proposals in Howell, proposals elsewhere in mid-Michigan. We already see proposals all over the state that are happening in rural communities, and it's because these rural communities, or at least these mid-sized communities, do not have the political capital to fight back.
Well, and I guess I'll kind of end with this point. It's like, when is Michigan going and this is a bit of a steel man, but also I think something that's a little bit of a wake-up call. When is Michigan going to start saying yes to stuff? Because the more stuff we say no to, the more desperate of an economic position we put people in. Because these unions, they're all for these data centers.
Oh no, trust me, I
know what I
heard
mean?
it. I sat and listen. The plumbers unions for it, the electricians, the millwrights. Everybody is in for it. But
So we're going to block every single sheets we can.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and try to stop every single development we can. We're going to encourage more storage facilities or some junk.
But again,
we're going to
but-
get in the way of the Rensen. And then we're going to, at some point, you start running out of options.
But this is the point I'm saying, and I'll make a clarion call out to all the people out there in Metro Detroit. Is there's coming a time where we have to say we need to do it. We just got to do it, right? We're talking about urbanization. We're talking about mass transit. We're talking about connecting this Ann Arbor to Detroit corridor. These are things we just got to do. Because if not, there's going to be a lot of outside money that slides up in here, and it's going to be able to outbid everyone here, period.
We are operating the state like it's 1955, but the world has moved to 2026.
We don't have that juice. We don't have that juice, man. We don't have that juice. And so in order for us to regain that juice, it cannot be something that continues to just look to the past and look to try to bring back what already existed. We got to look to something new, but also we got to pay attention to what the people desire. And there are some things that the people desire, and data centers is not one of them. And I think this is a big miscalculation from Gretchen Whitmer. Listen, I'm sure it will provide some nice paying jobs, but at the end of the day, we are seeing nationwide that people of all political persuasions, this is not a partisan argument, of all parts of the political spectrum are frustrated with how these big companies have implemented these data centers. And there's going to be a massive reckoning with it. And I think you want to be on the correct side of it.
Well, and I appreciate you entertaining the steel man argument.
Oh, that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. And listen, I can't fly off the rails and feel how I feel about it, but because I still have to look at it logically too. Listen, we use a lot of data. The genie is out of the bottle, okay? Pandora's box has been opened. We are not going to go back on internet and data usage.
Well, and that comes down to the idea of, okay, not only do we need the regulations, which
that's the
administration says it's there, but I want to see the documents. Why can't we have transparency?
Exactly.
That's what we need.
That's what we need.
We all know it's real. We all know it's here.
Yeah. Well, and then you got stuff being proposed like with Bernie Sanders, who says, if these AI data centers, these AI companies are going to be as massive and take as many jobs as they say, then they need to be owned part and parcel by the United States government, so the United States government can regulate them. Because if not, dude, do y'all really want Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg running and controlling 80% of the job market, bro? Really?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Really?
See, I don't even think it's going to get there.
No, I think there'll be a stopgap.
AI is here to stay, but I'm not buying any of this AGI stuff. Like, I look at it and go, it's not as evil as people think, and it's not as good as people think.
No, listen, I'm being hyperbolic, and I'm saying that. But also at the same time, I also know that in order for it to not be that crazy, there have to be stopgaps.
Well, I'm really curious what listeners think. DailyDetroit@gmail.com. Please be straightforward. If for some reason you only want me to use your first name or whatever, I understand. This is a difficult topic. I know a lot of people have given me feedback. They're like, hey, I don't want to post this on social media because I'm just,
Give a fake name. Who cares?
Yeah, I want to hear what people think around this one so we can discuss it. So dailydetroit@gmail.com or 313-789-3211. What a show, Norris Howard.
Hey, man, listen, this is a thing that we are here to do, and it's really important that we have these conversations and talk to the people and talk to the powers that be as well, as you've done. And if you haven't checked it out, Jer has a wonderful series talking to our potential Democratic Senate candidates that you can check out. Also, all the coverage from stuff up at Mackinac, talking to some of our elected leaders and potential elected leaders, and hold their feet to the flames, guys, because if this is something that you disagree with, let them know. If it's something that you want, let them know. But one thing we will agree on, Jared, is we do in Michigan have to start saying yes to some stuff. We do have to start putting ourselves and our elected officials in place to create an infrastructure that helps everybody in the state of Michigan. And that means some demographics across this state are going to change.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you for listening. I also appreciate our members, patreon.com/dailydetroit. Get some swag, help support what we're doing. We really appreciate it. With that, I am Jared Stays.
And I'm Norris Howard.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit. And we're clear.
Good job. No, Jared, you did great.
Well, I got to share with people. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to share with people. Now that I've done a whole series, I'm not going to say who it was about because I don't think it was about a specific person. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I got a piece of feedback that I wanted to share with people.
Okay.
It made me laugh. Hearing Jer interview local candidates is like if Ezra Klein was doing his podcast, but he could only talk to school children and the cognitively impaired.
Sheesh. Sheesh. That's wild.
I think that was a compliment.
Yeah, maybe, but that is wild.
What did do, Jared Norris? What I'd miss? Random task? I don't know what you missed.
You came out. He came in at about right as we're starting the live stream.
Get your donuts.
So yeah, I think it was the donuts. So you
Get
didn't
your donuts.
You didn't miss much. Random task, not at all.
All right. So yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk to Nick.
Yes, I've noticed kids don't like to go out to restaurants as much anymore. My kids and all their friends constantly fight me when I ask if they want to go out to dinner. We used to be a proper society.
We used to build things in this country. Yeah, no, I agree. You know, and I don't know if it's generational or not. I don't know. Like, I don't know the issue of just like sitting down for a moment and just talking to one another as you share a meal. I don't know if that's scary to people or whatever. I don't get it, and I'm not gonna try to get it because I think it's dumb. But yeah, I think we are entering a era where we're gonna have to really ask ourselves, like, yo, what kind of society do we want to continue to build for ourselves? And is it going to be a society where isolation and individualism is even stronger than rugged individualism, or do we still want aspects of community? I think we are very quickly approaching the crux where we will have to strongly decide what we want.
As an elder millennial, borderline Gen Xer, I get, like, not only does AI create, like, all the technological stuff, but I think this whole conversation is actually to a part, yes, the environment, yes, all those other things, but there's kind of bad vibe, an ennui, a something, where it's like we've lost
It's dread.
a lot, that it feels like the world is far different and not in a good way. Like, and I wonder, like, I'd love to interview my grandmother if she was still alive and be like, how did you feel, born in 1909, raising a kid through World War II? How'd you feel about the 50s and 60s and seeing all this technology? I remember her telling me that it was amazing that sliced bread was invented when my dad was born. Mm-hmm. It was becoming popular. What's our sliced bread? AI doesn't feel like sliced bread.
No, but when the internet came out, it did.
Yeah.
Like the internet 1.0, it felt like sliced bread. But that's the thing, is that we've reached. I mean, I asked my grandma this question because she passed away in 2004, 2005. So she got to see the genesis of the internet and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And what was beautiful about that is I would ask her, like, what was it like seeing all this stuff? You were born, it was just radio, then TV, then the internet, then all this stuff, cable, all this stuff. And she said, all this stuff felt awesome. She was like, it felt cool. She was like, it was very cool to see that, like, the Berlin Wall fell, to see it visually.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I do.
that was in our lifetime, Like, it was very cool to hear it, sit and listen to boxing matches and baseball games on the radio that were happening, halfway across the country. It was fantastic to know that we just had the technology to be able to specifically be closer to each other, to humanize one another. And it just feels like everything in the tech space is being used to dehumanize us. It's a shift that happened in like 2012 or something, in like the really big explosion of social media, where everything is just being used to make us more separate, less human, less objective, less intelligent, and less empathetic.
It's great for selling ads. It's great for selling shirts.
Sure is.
Well, we need to wrap it up here. I don't see anything new in the chat. I really appreciate you all for joining us. We'll be back as always. And of course, a reminder, patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Support the work that we're doing. We've got the podcast. Follow us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever shows are found. Say goodnight, Norris.
Night-night.
With that, I am J.R. Stays. Thanks to producer Adam behind the scenes, who's been doing stuff with us for a while here. I really appreciate him. Until next time, remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit.